Hi, I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Daisy. Welcome, everybody. We want to talk about our Artist Way container that we and book club that we have coming up in April, and we're really excited to share it with you guys. And we wanted to explain a little bit about what it is and why it might be of interest to people who are looking to tap into that inner creativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Artist's Way, Daisy actually has the book. I have the workbook here. This is a wonderful 12-week book program, essentially, that leads you through a transformational experience, going deep into like your psyche, your spirits, feeling into your body in certain ways, and really becoming aware of things that are coming up in all capacities, but in this case also very artistically surrounded, so it's centering on your creativity and the artist within. However, the book is also the workbook experience, the whole thing together.
Yeah.
It brings up a lot. It's something that Julia Cameron, the author, talks about heavily in the book.
Yeah.
And because of that reason of it being something that is really in depth, it's really something that you are like kind of digging through the trenches of old stuff that's coming up. It is something that some people find it hard to go through on their own. And
Absolutely.
we've both heard people that have started it and then they were like, it's too much, I can't do it.
Yes.
So just like when you're doing anything that feels a little extra like tough, whether that's physically, emotionally, spiritually, it's always nice to have somebody to do that with, somebody to talk to, somebody that understands. And also, when you're doing this inner work, sometimes you don't want to tell everybody about it. Sometimes like your spouse, your parents, your children, your friends, other family members, sometimes they just don't quite understand what it is that you're going through at the moment. So we don't always want to like open up that part of us to anybody.
Absolutely.
So if you're in a group of people that are all ready to experience that, then there is you can just be yourself. You can let out, what did you call it? Let out all of yourselves, I think it was.
Yeah,
You said,
all the versions of you, for sure.
Yes, yeah.
They get to come to the table and we get to learn like some acceptance. And definitely like what the book is going to do is it's going to give you basic tools. That's what they call it in the book, and those basic tools are the morning pages. That's what the journal is for. So every morning, stream of consciousness, just writing everything down. And sometimes that could be a lot of negative stuff. It could be a lot of your worries and your fears. It could be like, I'm not going to be any good at this, written literally for 3 pages.
Totally.
So this is about, and what I've noticed when I've been utilizing the morning pages, and it can be things that are of interest to me, it could be things that I'm working through, it could be like feelings that I'm feeling, or even, whatever it is, it's like, if I put it in the morning pages, that's a way of me processing it and a way of allowing myself to have a voice and even utilizing it to ask myself questions. Mm-hmm. I think that the morning pages, and journaling in general can be difficult, but the way that this is it's like one of the core values of the whole program.
Yeah, can you explain the morning pages and how they're incorporated in?
Yeah, so every morning you're gonna sit down, and sometimes I don't get to it in the directly in the morning, but by the end of the day, I'm gonna try to do my 3 pages of writing every single day. And the morning pages, they're like you're processing. They're what's going on in your mind. Like literally, sometimes we live in loops and patterns in our brain. Mm-hmm. So if you put it down in the book, basically you can only talk about that so many times before you kind of like want to move on.
yeah. I talked to my girlfriend about it enough.
Right.
It's time to go. It's time to
like I said, like I even find moments like this is a part of the creative process. Like even if you're not a writer, even if that's not your form of creativity, or you're like, I'm not good at it, it's not about being good at art to do the artist way. It's about, there is a spark within you, within all of us. Our lives are about creation and humanity, and we are naturally creative as humans. Why do you think we have the houses that we have, the lives that we have, the technology that we have, that all came from imagination.
Totally.
And like what you put down in the morning pages, it's whatever comes up for you. If you're having a rough morning, if you don't know what to do, if you feel lost, write it all in the pages. Everything that's like, you basically take your brain and you throw it up on the
whatever's coming up at the moment.
And this is a helpful process, again, to just get it out of the mind. Like, part of our fears and worries are just what we keep telling ourselves, the stories that we tell ourselves, the narratives that we tell ourselves. So as a core value, every morning for the 12 weeks, and some people have been doing the morning pages that have gone through the Artist Way for years,
like
for
15
decades.
years. Yeah, like a long time.
Yeah.
So this is one aspect of the Artist Way. There's 3 main parts to the Artist Way. So the one is the morning pages.
Yeah.
The other is reading through the book, through the 12 weeks in the book. So essentially there's 12 chapters.
Yeah.
At the end of each chapter, there are tasks. There's like 10 tasks, and you can choose however many you want to do each week. For me, like, committing to 3 has felt like a good amount. And then they also have check-ins at the end of the chapter as well.
Yeah.
So the book is the reading part of it, the check-ins, and the tasks that go along with each. Then we have the morning pages. And then the third aspect of the book is the artist dates.
Yes.
So this is where you get to be really fun and creative and come up with different things that you want to do to like explore that. Like, okay, for me, for instance, I really, really wanted to go to like a pottery studio and like throw clay and play around with that. So that's something that I am going to do, which I'm going to get the information from you on your son's pottery teacher to go do that, because I am going to do that. And it was something that was on my mind. I've been thinking about it for years. Have I done it? No. So
perfect reason to do it.
Yeah. So this is like getting me to do it. I had some fun in the last 2 weeks. I'm on week 2 of going through the book right now, and I've had 2 artist dates for myself so far. And so it's been like, okay, I didn't do my artist thing. Like, what am I going to do this week? And they actually like came up just like naturally, and I was like, oh, this is another thing I wanted to do was play with moss and create like a moss art. And so I collected some moss and I made like a little moss art box. So there's like something that I've had on my list of like, I really want to do this, and I finally like sat down and did it because I had the container to do this.
You have an excuse, like a natural born excuse. I actually am on week 2 as well. And I've done the book. I've done the full gambit of the book. It was actually pivotal to me at a time where I was transforming already, because this book is all about supporting you through a transition. And you may be you might be like precog, you might be like in the void space before the transition, you might be in the middle of a transition, you might be just beginning a transition, you might be at the end of a transition, but this is good for you at any point in your journey. Because guess what? We always are changing. We're always transitioning. And I even feel like we are so ripe right now for changing and shifting. This year feels like a year of shift. And with the artist date, last week I went, and here's the premises on the artist dates. You have to go by yourself. No tag-alongs. Nobody comes with you. This isn't you and your partner having a date. This isn't you and your kids doing some art activity together. This is about you basically taking your inner child. The artist mind is very likened to the child's self, because they are non-judgmental. Those thoughts are non-judgmental in the artist mind. They are full of wonder, full of awe, full of inspiration. They see and they need to take in beauty. So those artist dates, they're literally for you absorbing beautiful, wonderful things. So that kind of sparks your creativity, gets those creative juices flowing. And for last week, I went and I did I just went antiquing. I went and got a cup of coffee, and I went and looked at a bunch of it, because I love old things. I think I can hold them and kind of feel into the age and the what were they used for at that point, like what lives did these little objects have before they even came into my life. Aesthetics and putting nice beautiful things together are things that make me happy. Like, that's what your artist date is here to. It's supposed to center you in your body, so that when you go out and do the artist date, you're not like taking care of someone else. You're not.
Yeah, your full focus is on you.
Exactly.
Like what you want to do. And
Yes.
you don't have to answer to anybody else or compromise with anybody else.
Exactly.
You're doing exactly what you want to do when you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and last night I went on to a concert and I danced and I had so much just like, it was so fun and interesting because I was watching the music and I was enjoying seeing the band and the musicians enjoy their music, and I was also processing and doing some release work of my own stuff that had been coming up for me because I'm in the middle of a transition. So it was like, dualistically, I had the time and the space to do it. I didn't have to watch my son. I wasn't making dinner. I wasn't at home in my old routines.
That's a big part of it too, is like it's breaking, because when we want to make big change in our life, we are needing to literally make the change, and that's where we come out of our comfortable setting. Yeah. That's where we come out of our routine, and that's where the shift actually happens. So right. Let's talk about like what actually is gonna happen in like our container.
Okay.
So it's good. Our container is 13 weeks. It's the book club plus like the support group.
Yes.
So the first week is a meeting where we all get to come together over Zoom and just introduce ourselves, talk about what our intention is going into the book, talk about what's coming up in the book, what to expect, and just get to kind of say any fears, any like ambitions that we have relating to the book. Yeah. And then the succeeding 12 weeks will be the following along with the chapters in the book. So the 12 chapters in the book, the 12 weeks that are in the book, we will follow through with those. And then in each one of those weekly meetings, we will kind of go over what it was that was coming up, our like rose and our thorn for each one of the weeks. Like what was our favorite thing? What was the thing that was the hardest thing that came up? One week it might be really easy to be like, oh my God, I love this and this is awesome. And then the next week it might be like, I just felt a thorn this week. And that's like the reality of healing and changing and transition, you know, transformation is that we are going to have these, and this is why the group is here. This is why the container is here, because you know those first couple weeks it's like, I got the enthusiasm, I'm doing something really cool, and then it's like, wait, that's starting to drop off, and then it's like when you go to the gym and you're like on a good kick, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, actually I'm gonna sleep in today.
Yeah, exactly. And then you start giving it up.
So when you start to fall into this dip, this is what the group is here for. We're here to hold each other up, to talk about what's coming up and support each other, like share that we're not the only ones going through this, that we're all going through this together, and whatever the capacity is for each of us individually.
Oh my gosh. When I do group work, and the people that are attracted to the container tend to have a lot of the same rose and thorn moments, ups and downs, struggles, weaknesses, strengths, whatever you want to call them. They tend to be going through the same things in life. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's beautiful to be able to have a reflection where it's like, I'm not the only one doing this. Where if you were doing it on your own, you would be the only one doing it. So it may be feeling a little bit more isolated. Mm-hmm. Community is where you find that support. Like in the weekly meetings, not only are we doing a check-in, not only are we covering each of the chapters of the book and doing a brief synopsis on what we're going to basically tell you a little bit about what you're going to be doing, and then set you free to read and do your tasks and do your morning pages and do your artist date, and then checking back in at the end of the week, right? Mm-hmm. To see like how everything went for you. And you know, it's one of those things where some weeks you're going to do 7 days worth of morning pages and you get your artist date done and you did your task and you're feeling like pat myself on the back. And then there'll be weeks that you're literally like, the shit hit the fan, I wasn't able to do anything, and
that's where we can give up, and that's where we can feel like we are about to, like, or we get really down on ourselves, we get really hard on ourselves, and this is where we're here to be like, dude, this is life. Like, this is just the reality. It's okay. We're not perfect. We never have to be perfect. There was one day out of the 2 weeks that I've been doing it where the morning pages just didn't happen. Yeah. It was like, I was like, okay, I'm going to get to it later. Yeah. And then it was like, I literally, if I would have done them, would have just stayed up another like half an hour later. And it was already like, my cup was already full. You know, I was like, I can't do it. And it was okay. And like, instead of being really bummed about it or hard on myself, I was just kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah. That's also what the morning pages, the group, and the book talks about a lot, is like the inner critic. I think they call it a different thing in the book. Forgive me for not.
I know, I can't remember what it
There's
is either,
another
honestly.
C word they like to use, but it's inner critic. That basically, like, you have the artist mind, but then you have the critique. You know, you have the version of you that's the second, third, and fourth thought that says, first of all, right, a lot of artists are like, I'm not an artist. I can't do that. Like, oh, cringe. I'm going to have to, like, maybe tap into some part of my artistry and be like, have to see what the product of that is. And I'm a little scared of what that is, right? That's what that fear voice, that worry voice, that you can't do it voice, that you should be doing something different, or, oh, spending the money on this, you know, it could go to something else, right? Investing in ourselves is some of the most important work, especially at this time right now. If you were to come out of this container and reading this book and sparking your creativity, guess what would happen? Maybe
your life is going to change.
You are going to have the life you want.
shift.
You're going to feel good about what
Yes.
you're creating, right?
Yes.
Like, that's what we're afraid of a lot of the time. We are afraid of the goodness that's on the other side of all the hard work that we
Yes.
have to do.
And it's amazing the stories that people have coming out of this.
Yes.
12 weeks. It is like, it's profound. And even if that's just like the seed into something else, like let's say I go to the pottery studio and that like sends off a whole new thing that I would not have done.
Yeah.
Like this happens all the
my
time.
gosh.
And
Yes.
this is just providing that. So we would love if this is feeling like it is a match for you right now, that this is something that you are ready for. You'll know it if you're like
for
ready
sure.
for this type of transformation. You're like, I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling uninspired. I feel like I have a creative block. I feel uninspired in my work. I feel uninspired in my relationships.
Absolutely.
You taking care of yourself and filling your cup up is going to change everything.
Absolutely. And this container is not only going to be, the book is such a great resource for doing groups. It literally was written for group work. So there's that component, but also you have, ding, ding, 2 amazing support healers here that are ready and willing, you know, to coach you through, talk you through. We're going to use somatic techniques. We're going to use breath work. We'll get your body moving in our hour sessions. Like, you're getting a lot more than just
Totally.
a little bit. Like, it's going to be so filling to like receive those hour sessions. And the news flashes, the good news is it's going to be on Zoom because we want it to be accessible to everybody. We want this to be worldwide. We want this to be available to anyone at any time. And then you'll get recordings of each of the different, I'll be able to record it and put it up on a private YouTube, and we'll have like a whole library of all the weekly meetings, so that if you can't show up to the weekly meetings in person, which we really want you to, but if you can't, you aren't going to miss anything. You're going to be able to watch in your time at a different time. Again, like, that's the global world that we live in now. We're going to use our technology in all of the ways that are the best for us. So this is about you tapping into your creativity, and we're using all of the resources to do that.
Yeah. So if you would like more information on our website, KimberlyHarder.com is where the page is, and then on my website, on our link trees, we have our information. I am Kimbers.new.frequency on Instagram.
Yeah, and I'm at Christine Daizy, Christine with a K, and we'll have that information down in the link below in the notes, so that you can just click and find or copy paste all of our information. If you want to know a little bit more about us, I'm on Instagram at Christine Daizy. You are at kimbers.new.frequency. So see, you know, and we're going to be doing a Q&A coming up too. So look for that information as we post. And we are so excited for this container. It is so much the time for this. I have so many people that have already bought this book coincidentally, and I'm like, let's do this together.
People are ready for it. Yeah. We look forward to seeing you in our group. Reach out to us if you have any questions, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.